But nonetheless, you're here, and that's great. You know, one of the things I'd ask you to be thinking as we're talking, maybe more so on Sunday night than we do Sunday morning, what is one of the best ways to show you respect and honor for somebody else? What's one of the best ways? Do what they tell you to do. What? Tell them. What else? Treat them with respect. How about emulate them? How about, and that, okay, let me bring it back down to a smaller word. Okay?
Copy. I said copy them.
There you go. Thank you. I was trying to think of the right smaller word. Copy them. Jesus gives us all these examples. One of the best ways of showing worship and honor and respect is copy them. So a lot of what we're talking about is in the need or process of helping us know how to copy him, to live the way he lived. Now we know we're human, and we know he certainly had much more going for him than we do. But at the same time, because he came as a human, he experienced everything we experienced. And he's the only one that successfully went through everything. So if we continue trying to copy him, we may be off just a little bit. Like those old copy machines didn't do real good. The new ones do an awful lot better. But even then, they don't always get it 100%. So as we gather together, may we continue down the path that we might copy him to become what he'd have us become. Let's pray. Father, as always, may your Spirit have reign and liberty tonight. You would encourage us and continue to educate us. But as you do, fill us with your joy, that your Spirit would allow us to worship you as you'd have us do, that we'd have smiles on our faces no matter the circumstance, knowing you're with us every step and every breath, that glory be given back to you for all of it, with praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, let's turn to page 516, When the Roll is Called Up Yonder. If you can stand once again, please.
When the
Not to even hesitate. And let me know anytime. We'd love to have those of us that sing. I just always pray the Lord blesses my ears, or blesses everybody's ears, and blesses my voice when I'm singing. So, I'll keep her in prayer. She's doing a great job, but still feels a little weak every now and then. So.
She watched her baby grow. Seemed like yesterday he was in her arms. Where did the time go? He learned his father's trade, and she marveled at it all. Sweat dropped from her little carpenter as he made the timbers fall. She can hear them drive the nails upon the hillside, and she prays that his spirit will not fail. She watches as the young man undertakes his father's will, as she stands in to the driving wheel. In the streets of Jerusalem, a child can disappear. She was frantic as she looked for him, until she began to hear. Hammers up at the temple, she called him as she ran. The pride she found in teaching, like no ordinary man. She can hear the driving nails upon the hillside, and she prays that his spirit will not fail. She watches as the young man undertakes his father's will, as he stands and listens to the driving nails. Darkness covered all the land in the middle of the day. He began to tremble as the earth began to quake. Hammers, nails, and timbers of the carpenter's trade made the sound that pierced her soul as the cross was being made. She can hear the driving nails upon the hillside, and she prays that his spirit will not fail. She watches as the young man undertakes his father's will, as he stands and listens to the driving nails, as she cries and listens to the driving nails.
Blessing, thank you. Let's sing one more song, and then we'll let Tom come up. I have decided to follow Jesus, page 305, and like I've told you many times, the first on this one is John 12:26. Whoever serves me must follow me. And I tell you what, I don't know how people make it that don't serve him and follow him. Let's stand and sing all 4 verses, please. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. Don't go with me, I still will follow. Don't go with me, I still will follow. Don't go with me, I still will follow. No turning back, no turning back. My cross I'll carry till I see Jesus. My cross I'll carry till I see Jesus. My cross I'll carry till I see Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back, no turning back. Thank you. You may be seated.
I know pretty much everybody that's here right now is here this morning. Almost everybody. Palm Sunday, we all know that story. And because this is Palm Sunday, we've got to start tonight. We're just talking about Palm Sunday for a second. Now, when Jesus came to town, and they got him that colt, horse, donkey, whatever you want to call it, because we're not going to squabble about what it was. It had 4 legs, a tail, and it carried him. It was big enough to do it. That's not the point. But it said there were a multitude of people out in the street, kind of like that glorified parade, that ticker tape parade like mentioned this morning. How many people do you think were on the sides of the street? 100? Hundreds?
2 million.
They were there to celebrate Passover.
2 million.
Thousands of people probably, right? Because they were there for that feast. They were there. So there'd be thousands of people lining the street and all these people putting the branches down and doing all that. Now when he finally got to the point where he got off whatever the animal was, where were all those people? Where do you think? Surrounding him. Because Jesus never chased anybody away. I mean, he always said, let them come to me if they want to come to me, which is an open invitation for people that are lost, but they don't know that yet. But he would allow people to come near him. So just think of that multitude of people that would have followed him up the street. The ones that were in front still dropping their palm branches and leaves and whatever else in front of them, flowers, and he's walking up there and he gets that in. Then when he went to the upper room with his disciples, I know there was no fire department there. At least I've seen no recording of it. So there wouldn't be a fire marshal either to say, look, you can only have 20 people in the room. Where did the thousands of people end up that didn't go into the upper room? Still outside. Now they were all claiming him to be the king. That new king that was coming to take rule over them, to change what they were dealing with. So they were all out there in front of him. They went and had their upper room feast, came down, and went and prayed. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for opportunities, and thank you that there's nothing hidden in your words, but rather there are those jewels and gems that, oh, so often we just happen to miss. Father, help us that we would copy you, that we become the way you'd have us be, with perfection from A to Z. That through it all we give you honor and glory and praise in Jesus' name. Amen. What we're looking at is the fact that there was a multitude that was cheering for him. What happened when the authorities came to that multitude? Where did all those people that were proclaiming him, where did they all go? Do you think they all just disappeared and another couple of thousand people showed up? Or do you think they were still there? Okay. When we look at what was going on, we know that he said that Simon would betray him, which he did. Verse 63 of, tell you where to go. Luke 22. I knew where it was, I just didn't tell you. I was going to let you look for it. Luke 22, verse 63. Wasn't a lot of jumping around this morning or tonight. Now the men who held Jesus mocked him and beat him. And having blindfolded him, they struck him on the face and asked him, saying, prophesy. Who is the one who struck you? And many other things they blasphemously spoke against him. As soon as it was day, the elders of the people, both chief priests and scribes, came together and led him into their council, saying, if you are the Christ, tell us. But he said to them, if I tell you, you will by no means believe. And if I also ask you, you will by no means answer me or let me go. Hereafter the Son of Man will sit on the right hand of the power of God. Then they all said, are you then the Son of God? So he said to them, "You rightly say that I am." And they said, "What farther testimony do we need? For we have heard it ourselves from his own mouth." Now, understanding in that particular court, there wouldn't have been thousands and thousands of people. And not only that, the leaders wouldn't have put up with rabble-rousers in that crowd. They had their select few that were going to be there, the chosen ones, that were going to have their conversation and would be dealing with this Messiah that scared them beyond all belief. In Luke 23, verse 1, "Then the whole multitude of them arose and led him to Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, 'We found this fellow perverting the nation and forbidding to pay taxes to Caesar, saying that he himself is Christ the King.' Then Pilate asked him, saying, 'Are you the king of the Jews?' He answered him and said, 'It is as you say.' So Pilate said to the chief priests and the crowd, 'I find no fault with this man.'" There's a crowd now. Somewhere along the way, they picked up a crowd. A multitude of people. If somebody had been following him down that parade route, if you will, they would have been outside waiting for him to come back out and give words of wisdom, to do healing, to explain what was going to happen when he took authority over them. So there were still those same people hanging around waiting to see him, waiting to hear him. So when he was led away, there'd be some that would just be curious. Some of them that were afraid because they were really believing strongly he was going to be their next leader, their next king. But there's a crowd now when he ended up with Pilate. They were, verse 5, "But they were more fierce, saying, 'He stirs up the people, teaching throughout all Judea, beginning from Galilee to this place.' When Pilate heard of Galilee, he asked if the man were a Galilean. And as soon as he knew that he belonged to Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who was also in Jerusalem at that time. Now when Herod saw Jesus, he was exceedingly glad, for he had desired for a long time to see him, because he had heard many things about him, and he hoped to see some miracles done by him." Can you imagine? Can you imagine one of the legal authorities having heard of Jesus and wanted to see him and wanted to see some of the things that he had done before, or some new things, some new miracles? He was almost acknowledging the divinity of Christ without doing it. Obviously he couldn't do it, he wouldn't do it. But it was as if he was in awe of Jesus. Kind of like some people are with rock stars. You know, there are probably people here that if you just had to go across town for a couple of minutes to see Elvis when he was living, you'd have done it. Or driven an hour or two, you'd have done it. Just as it would be for some sports figures and some other people. I'm not saying any of it's wrong. But here's Herod saying, "I heard about him. I'm so excited. I can hardly stand it. I want to see what he's going to do." There he was. Verse 9, "Then he questioned him with many words, but he answered him nothing. And the chief priests and scribes stood and vehemently accused him. Then Herod, with his men of war, treated him with contempt and mocked him, arrayed him in a gorgeous robe, and sent him back to Pilate." You know why he sent him back? It was because he wouldn't answer him, but it was also because he wouldn't do anything for Herod to see. Why else would he show contempt? Here he's the king. This man's not answering his questions. He would have contempt for him. He wouldn't have stood for that from anybody, let alone this man that he's already let me known he was excited to see. That very day, Pilate and Herod became friends with each other, for previously they had been at enmity with each other. Then Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests, the rulers, and the people, said to them, "You have brought this man to me, as one who misleads the people. And indeed, having examined him in your presence, I have found no fault in this man. concerning those things of which you accuse him? No, neither did Herod, for I sent you back to him, and indeed nothing deserving of death has been done by him. I will therefore chastise him and release him, for it was necessary for him to release one to them at the feast. And they all cried out at once, saying, Away with this man, and release to us Barabbas. The crowd that had been following Jesus turned. Not everybody that was there was a new bystander. There were people that were following back and forth and around to see what this new king was going to do, how he was going to answer. They'd heard of the miracles. They'd seen the miracles. I believe there were some of the people in that crowd that had had a miracle performed. But when they heard he was going to be in the neighborhood, they wanted to be there and say, thank you. Look, I can still see. Thank you, I can hear. Thank you, I can walk. Thank you for all those other things. Thank you, I got my mind back. But the crowd said, Away with him, give us Barabbas. The crowd turned against him. Now, some might say they didn't get to go in the upper room, so maybe that's why. They didn't get to hear the inner workings of what was being said with the disciples. They didn't get to share in that feast that they were having. Maybe there were some that were kind of jealous and envious, so maybe that's it. But maybe it's not. See, as we go through Scripture, in Matthew 10, verse 16, it says, Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils